Okay, we're live. I didn't bother with any. I didn't bother with countdowns or anything this time. So that was interesting. Isaiah, good to see you in the chat, mate. Good to see you in the chat. I officially, to pull off, lost my debate cherry there on YouTube. So.
Maybe we can get by on a technicality because it wasn't technically a full debate. It was a moderated discussion. How about that?
Which I think generally they're a bit more productive anyway, so...
yeah, I prefer that. I'm not a big one for formal debates. I don't mind having like a introduction at the beginning of something to...
Yeah, well, I
kind of... Here's my side of it, but that's more me coming from a science background where I like a bit of time at the beginning to explain the science of what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
a bit like what I did with Numpty, if you remember that one.
Oh boy, that guy! Oh my word!
That was a dumpster fire. That one.
That was.
So you did a lot better this time. Yeah, a lot better.
That guy was. It comes to a certain point now with him. It's kind of like, I don't, I actually had to sort of wonder about, whether he should be platformed actually, because he's clearly he's got some bizarre ideas. What's his why non-believers are idiots? That's his official.
Yeah. I don't think I would do a round 2.
No,
let's put it that way.
That was bad. That was, especially when he started going about the giant snake around the world or around the flat Earth or whatever. I'm like, oh boy, this is that was crazy. So at least we certainly weren't doing So yeah, that was, at least we weren't dealing with that sort of level of conversation.
Yeah, I said this one, I think, as I mentioned in the actual chat, and I do believe it, this one went really nicely. It was so calm.
I think so.
Now I'm just hoping someone gets into a fight in the chat so I can finally do some actual moderating.
Yeah, I'm going to put the link in the chat, but people know my rules. If I don't know you, you're not coming in. But that's kind of a rule of mine. So
a few people showing up in the chat. Hopefully we'll get a few of them.
Sandy. Ring was catching it on the catch up crew. Hi Cats, good to see you, mate. Good to see you. Yeah, I saw Cats. He's had a back and forth with Ray Comfort. I saw that. I mean, you want to talk about a dishonest apologist? That's Ray Comfort, one.
Oh yeah, easily. I wouldn't say hands down because there is a lot of competition for that title.
I'm not even talking about Matt Powell.
It's terrible. That was an interesting chat. I don't fully get where he's coming from with his definition of a cult that basically includes everyone that doesn't agree with him. I don't see how you can come from that, and how he differentiates that Islam isn't a cult and atheism is, using his definition.
That more sounded like he wasn't willing to admit it. But I could be wrong, and I don't want to put words into his mouth, but I did find it odd that even though he basically admitted that a lot of the time atheists can be better Christians than Christians, which I think was his way of saying they can be better people, although, again, I don't want that. I can't say that with any degree of certainty, but yet still atheists are the cult ones because he wants to call out the bad behavior that we've done, and somehow we're worse than everybody else, even though we're not a unified group. And I'm sure, although I'm along similar lines to Jeff and some of the others here, because I know what Chris's views are because I've heard them. I'm not as familiar critical as with yours, but I'm guessing we'll be similar, but we're not going to be the same.
No.
Good to see you, Chris.
Good to be here, mate. Good to be here. It was a very calm conversation, but to say that you wiped the floor with him would be an understatement. He didn't even try to make the argument. He agreed that there were cults within atheism. I think we all agreed with that. He agreed that we can't even agree on the definition. Even by his own definition, that he was the Merriam-Webster one. He didn't even attempt to make his argument apart from to say it just is. It just is. By that definition, it is. He didn't do the thing.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing.
What we did find out was we found out he used to be in a cult. He gave $50 to someone. Many atheists trust him with his address and or with their addresses, and how wonderful he is.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say you're not a fan of the guy. So
look, I genuinely just think he's full of it. I think I don't understand what he's trying to do, actually, because he made the claim that, he cops all this abuse from atheists and that, Christianity for him is a good thing. Now, if Christianity for him is a good thing and it's helped him, cool, go for it. I have absolutely no issue with that. I think that Christianity can be good and religion can be good for some people. I've seen people who, certainly in my time in churches, have gotten out of really bad situations because they found something to believe in and completely turned their life around. Now, that doesn't mean that their belief is true, but if it has a positive impact on them, power to them. But when you come into atheist circles, when you start engaging with atheists and reaching out and say, hey, come on my channel and debate me, bro, you can't expect that people are going to validate your beliefs. If you come into atheist circles, atheists are going to say, well, you're a Christian, you're wrong. And when you want to argue and debate with them, we're going to debate. We're going to have the conversations. I don't think that there's a lot of honesty in what he does.
There seems to be a twist there, though, because when you say that the good can come from the religion, there can be good people, there can be good thinkers, there can be positive things. He's taking the reverse of that into being the negative, if that makes sense. So where he says that atheism is a negative. Big.
Now, maybe it's a negative for him. Maybe atheism is not a good thing for him personally. Okay, that's fine. Don't be an atheist. I mean, for me, it's been a positive experience. I think for a lot of people, it's been a positive experience. It's not positive for everyone. Maybe it wasn't so positive. Yeah, I mean, maybe it wasn't so positive when I first left religion, because it was actually quite a traumatic thing for me. When he spoke about mental health and mental health issues within atheism, well, yeah, that's probably the case. But what's the cause of that? I think that there's got to be. You've got to look at the trauma of coming out of religion and certainly the trauma in the way people who come out of religion are treated.
That was the point of my question, actually, that you missed the context. The context of my question was he's commenting on he's got all these statistics about mental health and suicide. And it every time that Christians present this data, it's always produced within the context of a society that really shits on atheists.
Yeah, 100%.
Whereas if you take countries that don't have that stigma, suicide's the same. There's relatively little difference in mental health and suicide.
Yeah. But even with those arguments he was making, even if it was a case that there was a significantly higher proportion of atheists who had mental health issues, that still doesn't go to the argument that atheism is a cult.
No.
That goes to the argument.
He didn't make any argument that atheism was a cult.
No, he didn't.
No, and I think the problem with his definitions is they're way too simplistic. It was very subjective. It was, I think it's a fringe belief, therefore it fits them. And but my biggest thing that he said that got me though, I mean, anyone who's known me from either my channel or the others probably guess which line of it was or what comment of his.
Scientism.
Yeah.
That
because he basically, and then he's like, and this is one of the flaws for me, and it shows just, I think along these lines of very black and white thinking, where it's just, oh, they're either all bad or they're all good, even if I acknowledge some middle ground. No, we still need to draw a conclusion either way. Was for some reason there's a lot of scientism is where you think science is the only thing that can explain the universe, but to me that was just like, that's not how science works. I would actually agree with the statement that science can show us everything about the universe, but that is more not that science is a thing, but it's a process for figuring the universe out. So if it's true, we can figure it out. If it manifests in this universe, we can go about testing it. That one got me because it was a bit of a... It was a very wooey statement, even for Isaiah.
I'll admit, I might sort of let him go on that. I mean, I can understand where sometimes, you hear a term like scientism and it might be applicable in certain ways, but that's not a term I particularly like.
It's used as a wishy-washy term. It's used in a way, again, that they don't really want to define it, because any way that they actually define it doesn't seem to apply to anyone. If that makes sense.
So one thing I quickly want to mention as well, and I'm just going to take a step back to the mental health side of things. There's a big factor that isn't taken into consideration with a lot of these reports, and that is within religious communities, mental health is treated differently. Now, it can be demons and things are prayed away, so there's actually not any professional help that's sought, or where it's sought through the church, and you've got a pastor or a church leader acting as the therapist, for lack of a better term. Those statistics aren't going to be reported. So I don't necessarily think that there's a good enough sample out there to make those claims. I think it's, if you were to say reported or people who actually seek professional help, yes. But every time I've gone to someone for anything to do with mental health, they've never asked me what my religion is or isn't. And it's never come up.
And it shouldn't be a question. I think that's to go along with what Critical said earlier about it's when you actually try and control for that stigma in society, or at least as good as you can, they come out the same. It doesn't seem to affect either way. And I think the only contributing factor there might be community, but that actually doesn't have to do with any particular beliefs, but actually just having a good support network. And that seems to be from what I've heard elsewhere, though this is not my area of expertise, but I think that's more of it. And so the only conclusion I would have drawn from that section, the argument, was that we just need to not stigmatize mental health, and we need to make sure.
Isaiah in the cult thinks he actually did a very good job of showing why atheism in the cult.
Yeah. And Darth Dawkins thinks he won every debate he's ever been in. So, it's no worries.
Well, he's not. To be fair, though, he hasn't faced G-Man yet, and G-Man always wins.
Yeah, well, that's true. G-Man never loses.
Yeah, it's a metaphysical necessity that G-Man wins every debate he's ever had. Yeah.
See, and here's the thing. This is why I have a bit of an issue with Isaiah, because you have a conversation with Isaiah, and he comes across as, like, if you have a face-to-face conversation, he comes across as a reasonable person. I've had good conversations with the guy. I actually quite liked him at one point and thought, he was one of the few Christians that we actually invited on to Six Pack as a guest. And we didn't do that for any other reason apart from, I thought, here's someone who can potentially have a decent conversation. But his problem is he's a keyboard warrior. Now, I get that some of it's probably tongue-in-cheek or possibly his humour, but he takes it too far. And he he treads that line between having a bit of a laugh and actually, really insulting or just trolling to a certain point. And look, I'm no saint there. I'll do the same thing. But to a point, but... I believe that you should always mock people with bad ideas when they're acting that way. But I just really find him. It's almost like there's two Isaiahs. There's Isaiah you have a conversation with face to face, and there's Isaiah who is a keyboard warrior, but by the same token, you can have some bad conversations face to face with Isaiah as well. And we saw that with the whole trans stuff that he got into, that he just should never have got into.
I was going to say, Isaiah, the link is actually pinned. If you actually do want to come in, mate, it's actually pinned up at the.
Come in by all means, Isaiah. I'd be happy to have a conversation.
You're welcome to join. Oh, hello. I think somebody has joined. Diesel has joined.
There we go.
No.
Oh, have you got the stream going in? I think he's sorting that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my daughter coming back here again too.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Okay, so Chris, I genuinely would like you to further elaborate on what you're talking about, me being a keyboard warrior, because
Matt,
that is something I
now.
Yeah, I have the feeling this is where I'm going to be needed.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, look. Okay, sure. I think there's two versions of you. I think there's one where actually it's almost like there's three versions. But look, I've had some good face-to-face conversations with you on streams.
Sure.
Where I think we've had a pretty reasonable, respectful conversation. Sure. And I think it's sort of been a benefit to everyone where we haven't necessarily agreed, but sure. We have the conversation. But then the way that you're acting online, you were, and I'll give credit where it's due. When I said, "Hey, just get out of my," I'll leave you alone if you leave me alone. Yeah, you did that. You seem to have respected that. But I mean, you talk a lot of shit on places like Twitter. I mean, whether it's in DMs or whether it's going through people's comments, commenting on things that really don't have anything to do with you. Putting in atheism's a cult into something that has nothing to do with atheism. I get these.
It's called trolling, man.
Sorry.
It's called trolling, man.
Yeah. And it's called There's a Line.
Okay.
So
if I crossed it, I apologize.
This kind of makes my point, though, because that's what I said. There's two Isaiahs. There's one that you can have a decent conversation with, and okay, you're admitting to trolling. That's cool. That's cool. I mean, I'll poke a bit of fun too, but I mean, at times there were lines that were getting crossed, and it was actually getting rather nasty.
I mean, I would say fair. I mean, we did do a bit of trolling ourselves, Chris. I mean, to be fair, so
100%.
Yeah,
100%. My attitude is I will treat people in kind. The way that they treat. That's why with Darth Dawkins, I'll mock the shit out of Darth Dawkins because that's what he does to other people. I will mirror his behavior onto him because that's the best way to deal with people sometimes. And do I have a bit of it? Yeah, I did absolutely. But it was only after you started acting in a certain way. And what I struggle with is, I mean, your podcast is respect, empathy, humility, or humility, empathy, and you weren't acting in that way. Okay. I mean, at all.
Yeah, Chris, can I remind you that a lot of this is taking place during a lockdown, during a Corona lockdown? So yeah, have I gotten bored sometimes? Okay, yeah, all right. But I mean, you're trying to act like I'm the only person out there who has two sides of them. Don't try to sit here and pretend like you don't have two sides of you as well, Chris.
I'm not.
Okay, well then understand that. Okay, I can get triggered by things that you say. If you guys are going out of your way, you know this, Chris. You have lied on me so much on Six Pack and on your channel. When? You know that, bro.
When?
You positively know that.
When?
Okay.
Once.
When?
Give me one example.
Well, I'll just tell you the reason why, and I really hate to, because you know where I'm going to go with this, but the reason why I canceled the debate that we had scheduled. You make it sound. I saw that little poll that you created. Like if I was gonna walk away, I mean, I was, Chris, and I've told you this, and I timestamped you the picture in which I took where I was at, and I showed you where I was at and why I left there so I could go make the debate with you. So you completely presented that situation totally inaccurately. And you failed to mention why I actually canceled that debate with you.
So I'm happy to release the DMs. Are you?
I absolutely, please do.
Okay, cool.
I've been respecting you, but I told you that my one of my good friends, we'll just say it and we'll see what lines up. Okay, one of my very good friends' husband had just died. Her daughter was out coping with it as she could, and she got raped as a result of that. And I told you it would be disrespectful for my friend, to have a debate with you about COVID while you had about whatever we had while you had COVID, when her husband died of COVID.
So I didn't actually have COVID.
Okay, so well, that's not the point.
That's the first
thing. You told
thing.
me you did. But you told me you did.
No, I said that I didn't want to. So what I said was, I gave you a heads up in advance that I didn't want to appear on stream because I didn't look particularly pretty. I was a bit puffy and stuffed. And I said, I think I might have COVID. I think it could be COVID. It turns out it wasn't. I tested that evening and it wasn't. But that's beside the point. Now, yeah, okay, you did mention the story. And I can't remember the exact night. I'm happy to pull up the DMs. Yeah, and I think what I said was along the lines of, look, I'm sorry.
Oh, that wasn't me.
A friend, but that's got nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Right. Okay.
Well,
pull it up. No, it's okay. We're releasing. We're releasing. If you think that's what you said, we'll release him. I respected you.
I think the proper course, is just you guys can release them on your relative platforms and everyone can see. But I think until that happens, we're not probably going to get anywhere, are we?
Probably.
Yeah. Oh, Chris. Anyway, you made it sound as though I canceled that just to cancel because I was afraid it.
Isaiah.
Yeah.
As I said, I don't think we'll get anywhere until that goes
up.
I
don't think this is going to be helpful, honestly.
And so I think we should.
I'll say this with a bit of respect, and I'll put it down to potentially there was a misunderstanding over direct message. I'm going to go out there and say that.
That happens all the time.
Okay,
that does happen.
You spent a lot of time talking it up. And there was, a few trolley messages, a few smart ass, which I didn't mind.
Come on, man. Come on. Have a good rise out of that, bro.
No, it was, that's why I said I didn't really mind. It was okay. But the thing is.
Again, lockdown.
Yeah. Hey, trust me, I went more crazy in lockdown than anyone. I get that. But the thing is, I said to you, no, I'm fine to do this. I have it organized. I just won't be the same as right now. I'm not on screen at the moment. That's all it was. That's all I was looking for. I wasn't. And as far as how I felt, I was a bit red and puffy. I could talk fine. I could think fine. I didn't really have any issues. I just didn't want to appear on screen looking the way I did. And that's all it was. Now, am I prepared to get down to a misunderstanding? Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I'm prepared to say that and move on.
Okay. I'll accept that. But please, with everything, I just genuinely want you to see, Chris, I was positively on the life of my daughter here, looking out for your best interest. I didn't want to engage in a conversation that might get you riled up because it was a heated topic. That I was trying to look out for your best interest. I swear to you on that fact that I left people who I was having a very good time with so that I could have the debate with you. And then you messaged me. You know what I mean? So I was doing something.
The irony is that you probably riled me up more by not showing up when I had everything organized.
And I came and I saw you talking and I said, okay, you sound well enough. I could join you. And you refused at that point.
I don't remember it that way, but
well, I appeared in.
I think
I appeared
for now.
Yeah.
Let's say that this is most likely a miscommunication.
All right. So I'm happy to say it's a miscommunication and move forward. Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's move forward. I think, particularly for this after debate one. I'm actually curious though, because if I may be permitted to change the channel, topic. I know it's Jeff's channel, so I don't want to hijack this, but it was my biggest issue was probably with the use of scientism. Did you hear what I said about it earlier, Diesel?
No, I just got on a few minutes ago. Maybe.
Okay, that's all right. So, my thing with you kind of insinuated that there's something wrong with science being the only way to understand the universe, or there's something wrong with science tells us everything we need about the universe in a way that is somewhat negative, whereas my view of it and my understanding of it, and well, I do enough of it hopefully on a daily basis, is that science is a method. It's not a thing. It's not an ideology. It's not a belief system. It's a method for understanding the universe. So, of course, yes, if you want to, it is the best way to understand the universe. You can't understand the universe without it to some degree because it is the method of figuring it out. And if something is true, then it will fall under that. And that's, I was just curious as to what you want to say on that, and then I'll go quiet again.
No, that's not an issue. I don't have an issue with science. I mean, as I said, I'm not one of the 6,000-year-old Earth or 6,000-year-old universe, whatever. I don't believe in any of that. So I got no issue with that. It's just what scientism is whenever you say that that's the only way you can resolve certain issues. That's my issue right there.
Okay, so it's slightly different. I think you might want to be a little more careful with the wording on that one to say it the way you did then, not before, because that's why resolve issues, because you could use philosophy as a more umbrella term that science falls under.
You could, science doesn't address metaphysical terms, metaphysical concepts. That's strictly in the realm of philosophy. So.
And I don't think you'd find many people who would agree to that, to the science being the only thing.
I mean, to be fair, I think I probably do. I do know some atheists that are a bit like that. That are very, very dismissive of philosophy and just like, science is all we need kind of thing. That happened. That does happen. I mean, Aaron Ra's a little bit like that at times, but it's so it does happen to a certain degree, but I don't think I mean, I don't think in general that all that atheists are like that, but there's a few, I'll say.
There's some atheists who are very cult-like. I'm happy to come out and say that. I've had streams on that before. There are, I think, especially around things like the atheist community of Austin, and this isn't a knock on them, but there's certainly some people that, I guess, within that community that treat it very cult-like. I think we've seen it with the whole Aaron Ra rocks thing. There's some people who Aaron Ra could say the sky was green, and they would agree because Aaron Ra cannot be wrong. I think actually someone who does a good job with a lot of that, Steve McRae, but there
you go. You're cancelled for saying that, Chris.
Yeah, I was going to say
I'm never going to get more subscribers now.
No, the only issue with Steve is, and I love Steve to death, and I tell Steve this all the time, is he needs to not react sometimes. He really just needs to just not react.
I'd agree with that.
Hey, I do want to say something. I really am sad that things went down in such a sideward way with you, Chris, because I was very much looking forward to having a similar conversation like this with you. I literally spent hours and hours preparing for that. And had you not told me about that and had that situation not happened with my friend, we would have had that conversation. And if you want to have it again, I'm happy to have you on my channel.
You want to know something ironic? And I just went back and had a quick look over the DMs. But you do the same. You know what's happened? We've both sent a message at the same time, and it's messed the context up. And
that's
afterwards,
fine.
I've gone, well, hang on, I think you've gone, whoa, and I've gone, hang on, no, that wasn't about that. And I think that's where it's actually got messed up. I think that we've both simultaneously sent something. Because I look at the timestamp, and it's the exact same time that these things were sent.
I totally unequivocally accept that, because I'll tell you this. Bryce from Oz's channel, Tart, we literally were exchanging emails, and I went to log on just to check my email, and I was at work, and I saw his thing pop up that we are on in 5 minutes, and I was like, what the hell? How did this happen? And I went through and I looked at the messages that we sent. I'm like, oh, I totally see how this got confused. So I had to run into the office. I mean, if you can see it too on the podcast that I did. I'm like scrambling to trying to get things ready. So it can happen, dude. I totally get that.
I need to step out for a couple of minutes.
Okay.
Matt, are you happy to keep the boys in order here?
I don't know. I think we're being pretty civil.
Okay, cool. Okay.
I think you're the problem, Jeff.
Yeah, okay. If I go away for 2 minutes, this isn't
Love
gonna
you,
turn
love your
into a
shirt though,
dumpster
mate. Love
fire.
your shirt.
Oh yeah, some bloody YouTube channel, mate.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
Good. Looks good. Look, possibly we can have a conversation, Isaiah. Maybe we'll have a conversation in private first. Yeah, I wouldn't close the door on it.
You're a cool bloke, man.
I'm feeling left out here. I'm the only one with my camera on. Give me a second. I'll join you all.
Something I am going to ping you on, and I think it was a bit of an upsetting moment in your previous conversation, Isaiah. You complimented Jeff on his hair, but you didn't compliment Matt on his. Matt goes to a lot of effort with his hair.
Hey, well, listen. Listen, Chris. Yeah, I'm not someone who tries to stir stuff up like Darth. You know what I mean? That's not my intention. That's not my goal. My daughter really strongly informs what I do online as far as reaching out to atheists and to try to have civil conversations and call out stuff that is like genuinely homophobic and transphobic and stuff that's designed to hurt people. You know, I very strongly take that seriously in my own community. And it wasn't my intention to go after you. I'll tell you this. From your podcast, I met God, and then I met from him Jeff Scoop, and I'm just so grateful for God because God introduced me to Jeff, and I've been doing a lot to help them with their anti, hate group stuff. So I've done a lot over the last few months to help them out. So yeah, I'm really sorry that things went. That was not my intention ever.
So can I ask you a question? And this is me asking you a genuine question. Something you said in the previous conversation was that Christianity's been a positive thing for you. And I accept that. And I don't know if you heard what I said before you came on. I think that if it's a good thing for you, wonderful, power to you. I think that, and I've seen, when I was in church leadership, that people did benefit from having a belief. I saw people come out of some terrible situations that, I doubt they would have got out of if it wasn't all of a sudden they found a community and a belief. So it's a positive thing.
We discussed that in our talk. Yeah. We discussed that in our talk.
So why then do you come into atheist circles and I guess want to have these conversations? Wouldn't it be more beneficial for you? Because I mean, we're always going to push back against religion and belief. The same as if I went into a Christian community, they're going to push back against atheism. Why do you come into, I guess, the atheist or the secular circles if Christianity, if you can see that you hope you're right, maybe you are, maybe you're not, but if Christianity is a benefit to you, why would you want to engage in these circles? What benefit is it to you?
To be honest, having the atheist as co-host, they have really helped me to refine and to question my own beliefs. So, for example, I mentioned Kenneth Leonard and his position on, letting go of people who have died. And that has really made me reconsider that talking about the afterlife with people, because I've started to understand that can have some really bad, disastrous consequences, like maybe worse than if people are atheists and they just let it go, So I've learned a lot. I've had a lot of my beliefs disabused. I have come to adopt, people's pronouns, and I'm getting really close to saying that this is probably the best thing that for a person in that situation to transition. One of my friends is transitioning right now, and I've done I've learned a lot. That's all I gotta say. I've learned a lot, and I enjoy interacting with people. I really want to destigmatize people, whether they're atheists, Muslims, Jews, Hindus, whatever. That's kind of like my biggest thing, Chris.
But how do you destigmatize atheists when you say that atheism is a cult?
Thank you. When you misrepresent them, how are you not stigmatizing them?
Because I'm not talking about specifically atheists. I'm talking about the belief of atheism, which I can say. Look.
Wait. How is that different?
What is the belief? What do you think the belief of atheism is?
Well, I mean, did you not hear our discussion? But I will say I can have just like with you. you probably have no respect for Christianity, but you could respect me on an individual level. I have absolutely no respect for atheism in an ideology of itself, but I freaking love atheists. I mean, I have lots of atheist friends, and as I said, we'll talk, and we'll just talk about other stuff not related to God. So there's
I actually respect Christianity. I just don't believe it to be correct.
Okay, that's fine. And I got no issue with that. If you don't believe, I have no issue with you whatsoever.
I mean, this is the question. How do you, if you take it at its base and say that we don't see any evidence of a God, how can you not respect that?
I don't know. I absolutely no. Listen, I think Christianity is filled with a lot of atheists in the pews who genuinely don't believe it. But I know I was one of them for a while. So if you don't believe, I would definitely prefer you hold on to that and not go to church, or not try to fake it. You know what I mean? I think you'll do more damage to yourself and to Christianity as a whole. So yeah, I have no beef with people not believing. Like, that's not my issue. My issue is whenever you go after people, whenever you gaslight and attack people like me, because I've had a personal experience with Jesus Christ. You know, you haven't, and that's fine, and I respect that. I totally respect that.
Well, but I would have said, if you had had this conversation with me 4 or 5 years ago, that I had a personal experience, and I genuinely believe that what I had was a personal experience, and that's fine. I don't want to convince you that your belief is wrong. That's fine. If your belief works for you and you're not doing any harm to anyone else, power to you. If it's a good thing for you, that's fantastic. I wouldn't want you to stop. But I guess, do you understand that when you come into atheist circles and you make what I'd say, pretty outrageous claims like atheism is a cult that really does attack, you are going to get pushed back on that.
Yeah, but you also have, okay, and I'll tell you the reason why I do that, Chris, because on your channel, you talk about cults and you guys go after and attack everyone else's beliefs. And yet simultaneously at the same time, you guys do absolutely cultish behavior. So I want to call you out on that. I want to keep you honest, and I want to show how you are engaging in the same kind of level of abuse, of closed-mindedness, of groupthink. And that's what it is. If you weren't behaving like that, you would never hear from me, Chris.
Can you give me, because if that's happening on my channel and if that's something I'm doing, I want to know about it. Can you give me one example of where myself or anyone on Hereticals has done that? Because if it has happened, I want to address it. What in particular has happened? Can you give me one example?
Well, one, your guys is streaming. Whenever you guys streamed and you asked me just a simple gotcha question, booted me off, and then started making up all kinds of lies about me along the way. And I left.
Hang on. I'm going to clarify something. We didn't boot you off. You weren't actually dropped from the stream. You dropped out of the stream.
No, yes, you did.
You came back. No.
More lies. Yeah, absolutely.
No.
I wasn't in this.
We were having a good conversation there, Isaiah.
No, I was booted.
Go back and watch the stream, and it's just like, hang on, what happened there? Where did he go? I even said to Jay on the stream, did you drop him? And he said no. I said, well, I didn't. And you had the link, and you came back into the stream after. You had the link.
Isaiah, from what I saw, it did look like you dropped. There was some sort of connective problem.
From what I remember,
from what I saw.
Now I wasn't in the stream that day. I wasn't on that particular 6-pack. From what I remember of it, I thought you left, Isaiah.
Nope.
So
nope.
You're saying
I was absolutely booted.
You were not booted. I can tell you right now.
So,
you were not booted.
So how many people actually had mod control over that discussion? Because I'm willing to grant that maybe it wasn't
myself and Jay.
Myself and Jay are the only two.
Okay, then maybe. All right. Well, I didn't leave, and I tried to get back in, and I couldn't. So. Then I got blocked. I got blocked from the chat.
If you had the link,
absolute line.
Hang on. If you had the link through StreamYard and you say you couldn't get back in, if you had the link, because you can't block someone on StreamYard, if you had the link and you couldn't get in, that's a connectivity thing, and that can be confirmed by anyone who uses StreamYard. If you have the link, and you can't get back in, it's a connectivity issue. So what I would say has happened then, if we're taking everyone at face value, is something's happened where the streams drop you, and stream drop people. I've been dropped out of streams. It happens. But you click on the link and you go back. You cannot block people. StreamYard doesn't have that function. You cannot.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can
Warren,
confirm that.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question? Were you on a mobile device at all when you came into that particular?
Yeah,
stream?
I was.
That can explain
That's
it, because
probably
I have very easily I've come in on StreamYard. I've dropped myself accidentally from a few streams, so maybe that's what happened. I don't know. I'm just speculating, but I wasn't there. So
all right. So okay, the other thing too is that in the chat I was positively, because I know this because it came up that well, and it clearly was showing that nobody was responding to anything I had to say. So I got somebody said it too on the stream, but I got put in some kind of timeout or something like that.
I think you were timed out by someone. Yeah.
In the chat, I think on YouTube, someone timed you
So
out.
okay,
And I think that was one of the mods who did that. I don't.
Okay, well, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt again, but that to me was like, you didn't want to hear anything else I had to say. You asked me a simple yes or no question, and then as soon as I answered it, I was off there. But okay, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that maybe it was just a connection issue. But you didn't really get to. But I didn't really get to explain that I very strongly and totally unequivocally know what trans people go through. Okay, I've suffered from that body dysmorphia. And so what I was trying to explain
Isaiah, I've got to stop you on that one. You have been corrected on this before. Those are not the same thing. This is not coming from me. This is coming from other people who have a better understanding of the medical background.
Okay.
Not liking part of your body is not the same.
Okay. Can I finish, please? Can I finish, please? Can I finish, please?
You'd have to change what you've said because that's incorrect.
Okay, so I suffered from that, feeling the confusion of being trapped in another body. Okay, so we'll clarify that one.
That is not the same thing.
Let's let him finish. Let's let him finish.
I have my reasons. I'm a little reluctant to go into trans issues on here. I am a little reluctant right now, and I have my reasons for that.
Okay, well, we can drop it. All I want to say was that I was trying to show goodwill and understanding towards people. Okay, that's all. We can drop it, but to try to paint me as being a hateful person who's out trying to attack people, that's just not at all the case, Chris. And I think genuinely you know that. And I don't know if you're just trying to feed meat to the wolves or the lions, but that's just not the case. That's not the kind of person I am, Chris.
Well, prove it. And here's why I say prove it, because whenever someone disagrees with you or whenever someone critiques you, you do go on the offensive, and you do. And I think we just saw an example of it there. I think we've been having a pretty reasonable conversation on here where I'm prepared to say we've probably both given each other a bit of grace, and we've both sort of said to each other, okay, well, let's say that there's some things that maybe there was some misunderstandings, but you tend to fire up a bit, and I don't know. It makes me sort of question your motive sometimes, and this is me having a genuine conversation with you. And I guess to go back to my original question, the cult-like behaviour that you've seen from me, from people around me, if you can give me an example, I would like to address it. If there's something, because I mean, I look at my channel, I see a lot of different people with different views on things. I mean, Jay's a Buddhist. I don't think when it comes to politics, I don't think me and Jeff could be any further from each other. I probably say there's a lot of differences in opinions on things with Matt as well. I would agree with that, but no two ways about it. But we all have conversations, and at the end of the day, what we try and do is we just try and have a group of people who get together from time to time and have a bit of a laugh with each other, have a bit of fun.
Mm-hmm.
We've got one thing in common, which is that we're a part of this community. We're not even all atheists, and I kind of feel like we tried to invite you into that and I felt a bit disrespected in the way you acted. Now, I'm prepared to give you grace and say that maybe there was a misunderstanding on my part and a few other people's part. But I guess, are you prepared to sort of maybe sort of look at the way that you act sometimes and sort of say maybe there's something you need to address?
If Jeff has been the bigger man and to admit the apology, I will absolutely take full responsibility for the time. Maybe I thought stuff was funny, or maybe I'm just locked inside of a house and I can't go outside, and maybe it's resorted to a little bit of trolling. Unequivocally, I apologize, and it has never been my intent to try to stir stuff up with you guys. You know what I mean? So all I can say is that I've lacked judgment. Period.
Well, mate, I appreciate that, and that's actually a pretty big thing for you to do. And I'm happy to accept it.
Absolutely, I really appreciate that.
So, I guess to move on to the atheism cult thing, do you see
back to that?
No, not the argument itself, but do you see how when you come out and make statements like that, especially in where it's a conversation about something completely different, do you see how people can react negatively to that? And
sure, and I've apologized, and I'm gonna take that to heart and not do it anymore moving forward.
Okay. Cool. Well, that's a positive. I think
Absolutely.
This has been a positive conversation then.
I think we have Jeff to thank because he's been the bigger man in arranging this, and he's definitely credit to humanity. So, the thing is, what really sucks, Chris, is that I'm sure if we all went out for a lager and had some pizza, I'm sure we'd get along just fine. You know what I mean? But we're stuck behind computers thousands of miles away.
I do need to say one thing, that pizza cannot have pineapple on it.
Yes, it will.
It must have.
Gosh, you want to start a blimmin' argument.
Now, if there was ever a cult, it's the people who don't like pineapple on pizza, they're a cult.
Hey, chaps, I gotta go.
I will die on that hill.
It's gonna be my wife's birthday in about 1 hour and 20 minutes or so. So I do want to spend some time with her. But I really do want to thank Mr. Matt, Mr. Scummer, and Mr. Heretical. Thank you guys all. I really appreciate that. I really think that we need more of this to just try to clear the air on stuff. And I thank you for your criticism. I accept it, and I'll try to be a better person in the future. So you guys have a good night.
Send me a message and we'll chat.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
That went a lot better than I thought.
Now, I just want to be clear. You didn't just dump him out of that, did you, Scummer?
No, he left, and we have that on record. He said he was leaving. So it's just no. So I did not kick him from the stream. Just so for the record.
Look, I'll give him credit. He copped to that. So anyway,
yeah.
But the proof will be in the pudding. I mean, it's one thing to say things; it's another thing to see how the actions are moving forward.
Mm.
And whether I have a conversation with him on his channel or my channel, I think there's still a way to go for that.
Yeah.
And pineapple pizza for the win.
Claire says, yeah.
#8 because you're just a monster. I'm sorry.
It's just evil.
I'm a monster. Evil. There's no two ways about it.
The fact that anybody, to be honest, though, the fact that anybody has put pineapple on pizza to begin with is proof that there is no God.
Yep, I can't disagree with that.
Are you telling me that pineapple doesn't go with ham and cheese? Would you have a toasty with ham, cheese, and pineapple on it?
I wouldn't have anything with cheese. To be fair, I wouldn't have anything with cheese on in the first place. So.
Okay, well, you're disqualified from this conversation then.
I think that is quite nice.
I missed that from Dave.
Pineapple on a toasty might be quite nice, actually.
Oh, they're sensational. Yeah, ham, pineapple, cheese, toasty. It's like a pineapple. It's like a Hawaiian pizza.
Tusk is asking, does he do this just so he can go back on his own channel? I had a combo of atheist cult members. They denied it, so it's true. I don't know.
I don't think he will, but I don't know. Keep an eye
I
out.
want to give
see.
him the benefit of the doubt. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt this time. So,
We'll see.
He's on his own channel saying that we're a cult.
He almost lost me, and I bit my tongue a little bit when he started down the "you kicked me up" because we didn't kick him off the stream. He did not. And I saw that you correct me, Dave, in the chat. Apparently, you can ban people.
Not if you. It depends. I can't remember how you use StreamYard. If you're just using the link to authenticate and you don't have any other authentication on it, there's no way of blocking it. Someone can change.
Yeah, no. It's I only use the link, so I'm very. It's just I run everything through StreamYard, so it's very basic. Here's the link. If you show up, you'll come in and you'll be down below.
Yeah, because there's no authentication. A lot of people use it with the authentication, so you've got to be signed into YouTube as well to get into StreamYards.
Oh, okay, no.
That's the case. Like you can be blocked outright.
Yeah, because that's what I was sort of saying. If he's genuine. See, look. My opinion was, and I'm still reserved on it, that I think he dropped out because it got heated, and then when they kicked me. I'm prepared to give him grace and say, all right, we'll call it a dropout or whatever it was. That's fine. I'm prepared to go with that. But when he said I tried to get back in and I couldn't, well, that's not how StreamYard works. And he did actually come back on the stream later, and he copped it for both barrels.
There's something I feel that needs to be noted: what happened after that stream, Chris, and because you had Oz on that day as well, didn't you? As a guest,
he went on to Oz's stream,
and immediately afterwards, Oz fired up a stream to bring him in, so they continued that conversation, and that was a complete dumpster fire, but Yeah. Incidentally, did he say that Oz doxed him or something? I'm not aware exactly, of that. I'm not exactly certain about what that might have been. I don't know. Yeah. And listen, I just pulled him up on the Daft Dawkins. Look, how I know we all know what Daft's name is and what, but I don't want Daft Dawkins clipping that and saying, hey,
yeah.
Well, look,
Look, I don't think it's any secret what Darth Dawkins' name is. I think most people know that. Until such time, though, as much as I don't like the person, until such time as he comes out and says, "This is my name." Actually, I'm almost torn. I mean, everyone knows it is common knowledge, I guess.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, we want respect from that community, from him that he doesn't give. But we're not going to get it by not showing it.
Yeah, two wrongs don't make a right.
Yeah.
And look, I remember when I got threatened very early on with being doxxed, and I ended up doxing myself in the end because I just thought, I'll take control of the situation. It's not a nice feeling, and even though I knew there were people who knew, it wasn't a state secret, it wasn't sort of locked behind some people keep their identities, but. It still wasn't a nice thing to go through. So, I wouldn't wish that upon people. Although, as it turns out, it really made absolutely no difference to me.
Yet.
I think any damage that would have happened, or was going to happen, would have happened by now.
I think you'll find 20 or 30 years down the line, it'll just come back and haunt you.
There's a lot of things that'll come back and haunt me in 20 or 30 years. I'm sure.
Well, I blocked someone. I blocked someone yesterday for suddenly weighing on and calling me a horrible human being over something that, first of all, that I didn't know had even been said in the first place, and it's from a thread from 3 bloody years ago.
Well, look,
I'm not engaging in this. I'm just blocking you. Fuck off.
I look at it this way. I stood for federal parliament. If there was any dirt that was ever going to come out on me, I can assure you that the Labor Party would have dug it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, look, there's no real dirt on me anyway. I'm pretty straightforward. I think what you see is what you get. I don't particularly want people to know where I live. But, I think people know the area I live in. It's not really a secret.
Does that give me an excuse to bag Canberra out?
I've just been doxxed. Damn it. You know what? Canberra is very cold. This is my first winter in Canberra, and I never realised that I moved from Wollongong, which was I didn't realise at the time, but it was a tropical paradise. Canberra's cold. It's going to be -3 tonight, and that is ridiculous. The English here are just going -3. That's like a balmy summer's day, but it's tough for us Aussies.
I don't know. I mean, our winters have been getting milder, but apparently climate change is not a thing. But but our winters have been getting noticeably milder.
So what you're saying there, Jeff, is climate change isn't a thing. Why do you think that? We'll clip that. We'll clip that for you.
You can clip that. Just do not send it to Amanda, please.
I don't think. If I sent anything to Amanda, I don't think she'd open it anyway. It's me and her are exactly on the best of terms.
Okay.
Sadly, I did reach out to try and olive branch, but I think sometimes people need to move on. Sometimes people just move on from each other, and that's cool.
Yeah. So that's the one of you listening. That was interesting today. I said I've officially lost my. If you could call it a debate, that's the first time I've done that on YouTube.
I don't think you can call that a debate.
Where was the conversation?
No, call it a debate. You won. Take it, have it.
Oh, I'll take the W. Why not? I'm sure he's going to claim victory as well. So
you handled yourself amicably, unbelievably so. You are so generous throughout. You did not. You gave him the benefit of the doubt on every occasion, in a way that if he had been more disingenuous.
Let's put it this way: if it had been Darth Dawkins, I wouldn't have been nearly as nice.
Poor Darth. Whatever happened to Darth?
He's gone.
Whatever happened to him? I mean,
I think he's just retreated to his little Discord server now, hasn't he? So.
I think it was after we met his mother on the stream, and she professed a love for the GAD. Yeah. She was lovely, Mrs. Dawkins.
I just thought that was so funny. That was funny for a while. I mean, we were just doing the Eddie's Darth stuff. It was. He actually does sound a little bit like Darth, doesn't he?
Well, I don't know if you saw from the Better conference. Dr. Josh showed up as
Kent Hovind.
The shirt, the hair, everything. Oh my god, it was so good.
Sensational.
Critical. You see this Dr. Josh's TikTok, haven't you? That one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny.
I would actually love to get Dr. Josh and Ed together for Darth versus Kent Hovind.
I actually showed that TikTok to Cindy Lincoln, and she found it hilarious.
I'm surprised it didn't give her flashbacks of.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for Cindy. Imagine being married to Kent fucking Hovind. Like seriously.
Yeah.
Like, jeez.
Well, I do salute her for having the courage to speak out against him. No, I really do.
Yeah, look, it wouldn't be easy. I mean, I generally take it with a grain of salt whenever there's a relationship breakdown. That's why I tread very carefully with the Khalil Allah stuff because I know there's a relationship.
Well, this is kind of why I wanted. This is kind of why I wanted to try and get away from that when Isaiah brought it up. Because I felt look, there's a lot of stuff there, but I did feel because he said something about you that I felt the need to defend. Actually, say you were one of the people who said, "Look, you shouldn't be dogpiling on this guy just because he's no longer an atheist."
I could send him a message now and have a conversation with him. I've always remained on friendly terms with him. When the latest stuff came out, I directly asked him. He said no, and my opinion is we'll see what happens in the court. That'll determine it.
I think you're forgiven, Chris.
Jeez, there you go. That's better from the Chris is an arsehole that we were getting 24 hours ago.
Chris,
I even asked.
Chris,
Another 24 hours.
Chris is number 8.
I am number 8. I wear that with with pride. No, look, I think Khalil, Justin. I mean, he goes by both. It's not dead naming him to call. He goes by both. So it's Look, I think he copped it a little bit. I think the way he converted and the way it happened was always going to garner a reaction. And look, you're always going to get people in any community.
Well, he went in and he was very zealous when he first went in, didn't he?
Look, he did the equivalent of the angry atheist.
Yeah, I mean, he did Christmas Eve, because I was taking part. Purple Rhymes of Orange does those 48-hour like Christmas stream or whatever, where we all take a turn. Khalil turned up in the in my chat and was wanting to come in and debate, and I was like, dude. I said, listen, you're welcome to come in and have like a chat, just a friendly chat. We're not having a debate on Christmas Eve.
No. Look, there's a time and a place for these things. Look, he went through the equivalent of the angry atheist phase, and look, I get that.
Yeah.
I know what it's like, and you know what? He probably did cop some abuse from people. There was a few people that probably went, well, hey, we can't work with you anymore. We've been on this empathetic atheist project with you, and the direction you're taking it, we can't be a part of, which is fair enough. I mean, there's probably a lot of people who dropped off because they were interested in an atheist channel or talk show. They didn't want to be part of an Islamic one, and which is basically what
I'm going to correct you on something. Actually, the actual thing in the Bible is "Blessed are the cheesemakers." Anytime I could get a Monty Python reference in,
I love Monty Python.
He's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy.
But actually, you know what? Maybe this proves the point that you don't need to be a religious person or have a belief to be able to act like a decent human being. I think there's good people and bad people in a lot of different beliefs.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
Even some of those fringe ones that we're not a part of.
Well, we are the fringe.
Well, we're not. I mean, look, it's 1.2 billion secular or non-religious people in the world. Technically, if we were a religion, would make us the third largest. There's more of us than there is Hindus.
That's saying a lot.
But
most of us would be Chinese.
We outnumber the Buddhists, so suck on that, Jay.
Yeah. Anyway, I really need to head off because I got to get to work tomorrow morning.
Must be getting late for you guys, isn't it?
Yeah,
11:30 on a Monday. Yeah.
So, I'm going to have to say good night, and
thanks,
I think
my
final.
Doing that today, Matt.
Oh no, you're more than welcome. As I said, it's a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. So, and I'm glad it was as civil as it was, and we shall see where it goes in the future. But I do have some final words, and that is pineapple still does not belong on pizza.
Yes, it does. All right, so he has been.
I want this for the record. I did not kick him either.
No, I think he should have been kicked for that. It's just I'm going to eat pineapple pizza. The next time I do a 6-pack, I'm eating a pineapple pizza live with just pineapple and cheese. That's it.
You got to do a Vegemite pizza, Chris.
I have seen it. I have. Well, see, we've got these things called Cheesy Mite scrolls that you can get, which is it's like a small. I guess it's like a mini pizza kind of thing. It's a pastry. Yeah, we get them from bakeries. They're sensational. It's cheese and Vegemite. I'd send you one. But by the time I sent you a baked good, I wouldn't be confident in eating it.
It'd be furry.
It's a big pineapple kicked in.
Good. So you can't even spell it correctly.
Can't bring himself to spell it correctly.
Nah.
He's a moral monster. See, is this that you could have that as a conversation for moral realism, Dave, about pineapple on pizza. Is that a moral? Is
Back in a sec.
pineapple on pizza is a statement that is morally objective? Is it? I'd be interested. Oh damn! You see that I didn't even get into that with him today, actually, because he said something when he had this conversation with Jay, actually, about atheist or he said something about atheists all believing in subjective morality, which is actually not true.
Nope.
So, and I do think I will say, because I've got to be fair, I've only just sort of started looking into sort of like morality as a philosophical concept or whatever, but. I think a lot of people, on whether you're theist or atheist, have not really looked into morality as a sort of really as a concept. It's quite. I mean, it's quite a difficult one to get your head around, really, when you get into it. But it's.
So the big question is, Jeff, when are Southampton playing Newcastle?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure if the fixtures list is out yet, actually.
I know that one of my best mates is a mad Leeds supporter, and we catch up he's actually coming to my place New Year's Eve. Every year we do New Year's Eve together. My time, New Year's Day, 2 a.m, Newcastle Leeds. So that's about to become a very big night.
Yeah. Okay, we've got this. Really says pineapple on pizza is morally objective. To its Trolley Dave actually says that's not how you spell objectionable. I think that's. I think we've got it settled.
Yeah, sadly, there is something immoral about Vegemite. You are very right.
Oh, take it back, you heathen! You Marmite lovers, I tell you.
The Marmite's worse.
Actually, I think there's one thing everyone can agree on, and that is Have you ever had Promite?
Promite is the shit. So
that is the worst thing in the world.
That's Australian as well, isn't it? Promite originally.
Sadly, I think so.
They get bored a lot and extract things from things until they are the pure evilness at the core of them.
I think Promite, they put a lot of sugar in it, don't I mean, I think like Marmite's a lot more salty than Vegemite.
See, when you live in a country where you're surrounded by things that can and want to constantly kill you, you kind of become a bit of a sadist when it comes to your food. And we just do these things.
Oh, by the way, I met an Aussie in the pub on Saturday who tried to tell me about the drop bear, Chris, and I was like, "Yeah, I know. I just had to point out. I know about half a dozen Aussies online. Okay, I know."
I hope he stuck with it regardless.
Yeah.
I hope he just went with it because I mean.
Well, I think the fact that it was it's like, damn, you just described it. He said he kind of knew I was right because I just described it as a carnivorous subspecies of the koala with venomous fangs. And he's like, you've heard this shit before, haven't you?
Hey, let me tell you, drop bears have been creating special moments for Australians for many years. We love them. Cuddly koalas. Anyway, I am going to have to run because it's probably 20 to 12 where I am. So
okay, cool. I'm probably going to shut the stream down in a couple of minutes anyway. So well, thanks for the feedback on that, Chris. You seem to think I did rather well against him. So
you won. You won. I am happy to absolutely go out and say that there is no two ways about it. So all right, yeah.
Yeah,
mate,
I mean, I wasn't really going into it in terms of winning and losing or anything, but you know.
No, look. I think it was a good conversation. I think it was an interesting conversation. It went in a way I didn't expect it to go in. I think as far as the topic and the actual debate and the substance of the debate, I think you won that hands down. Because you made the point and he didn't, apart from, by my definition, that's what it is, and I think it is. And look, it's a silly argument, but no, look, it was good. Dave, good to see you again, mate. It's been way too long.
It has. I've not been doing very well, unfortunately.
Oh, sorry to hear that, mate.
That's okay. Hopefully I can get out there a bit more. If it doesn't kill me.
No, I've been in hiding for a few months myself.
Well, hopefully you can get back. We can start doing critical questions again. So
I've started setting it up on my computer, getting OBS ready. So
yeah,
I've been hoping the next few weeks.
I get a clip, like notification from YouTube every day. Critical Cupcake has tagged you in the video because you're releasing all the clips. You know,
I'm going to run out of clips if we don't hurry up.
And probably because I've been on there more times than anybody else. It's
Anyway, I'm going to run, lads. Very good to see everyone, and hi to everyone in the chat. Sandy, good to see you there. Claire, Dave, Virillion. I will catch you all. There'll probably be a stream coming up this week. I was planning on doing a review of the of tonight's debate, but I don't know. I think we've kind of already covered it, but I'm going to do something in the next day or two. So keep an eye out for your notifications. Catch you all later.
Bye.
See you later. I think I'm going to shut the stream down, to be honest. Cupcake, good to see you. It's been too long.
It has.
It's been too long.
I hope I can be around more. So, really do.
Yeah.
Right. I shall say goodbye and run away.
Okay, cool. Right. Thanks everyone for joining. That was interesting. That was an interesting discussion. So we both this stream and the one before with Isaiah. So this is Jeff, aka God the Scummer. See you later. Salute.